Hello and welcome, NCO people. Very nice to see you arriving. We are very lucky to have our guests from BBC Young Musician Competition with us today. We've got Jordan and Sofia and Aki and Dan, and they're all going to be telling us today about their experiences of being in BBC Young Musician and also having been in NCO in the past, like all of you guys. If you want to ask questions, you just click on the Q&A and you can type your questions in and I'll ask them to these guys. And we're going to do a webinar selfie at the end. So if you want to take a picture of yourself with these friendly musicians who are just a step further on in the journey, then let's do that and you can send it in to us. So shall we get cracking? Great. I'm going to ask these guys to introduce themselves. And here we're going to start. Let's see who we're going to start with. Bit of a drum roll. We're going to start with Sofia. Sofia, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Hello, I'm Sofia. I play the flute. I was born in Stockport, and that's a lie. I was born in Cambridge, and then I moved to Stockport when I was like 3. So yeah, I would say I'm from Stockport. And I've been at Cheetham School of Music for 6 years now. Yeah. Great.
And who's this?
Oh god, that's me. I don't know how old I was, probably about 9 or something. I was just playing, I think it was Christmas, at my local church.
Very cute. And this?
Yeah, so that was just this summer with NYO. We were playing Daphnis and Chloe at the proms, and that was just all. I just thought it's a funny picture because we're all just like absolutely squeezed on stage. I mean, you can't even see all of the flutes. There are like 2 more flutes. But yeah.
Massive. And for those of you that don't know, NYO is the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain, which goes from like 13 to about 18, I think. So it kind of carries on after NCO. And what I should have said is that all these guys here today were also in NCO. So and finally, this is you, Sofia, in NCO. You were in the same orchestra as Dan. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the same year. That's right. Great.
Yeah.
And do you have any memories of NCO, Sofia?
I remember this concert. I think we were playing Scheherazade. And honestly, I just remember it as a really lovely time. Like, I'm still friends with some of the people that I became friends with there. As far as specific memories, I'm not really sure. I'll have to pass on that, but I do remember the concerts very well. I remember meeting Jessica then, and I thought that was really cool. I've still got that photo. Great, I think I asked her something stupid like, "What shampoo do you use?" And everyone was like roaring.
I remember that.
Nice.
I remember.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. She answered you as well, didn't she? I can't remember what she answered, but she did tell you what shampoo. Great. Brilliant. So let's move on to Aki. Tell us about you, Aki.
So I'm Aki. I'm now 15. I live in Highgate in North London. And I actually go to Highgate School as well, which I've been since year 3.
Wow.
I go to Guildhall every Saturday for my lessons with my teacher. He's called Ivo Stankov. And yeah, both my parents are also musicians. So I've kind of taken it from them. My dad's a violinist and my mum's a pianist. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Here's a little picture of little Aki playing the violin.
I don't know why that looks like it's from the 1960s, but not that old.
It's got that Ricky Tikki camera sound as if it is. Great, very cute. I like the way someone tries to move your arm and you like brush them off, like, you know.
Still the same.
Yeah. Don't touch me. So obviously you started when you were very little. Did you start Suzuki?
I did start Suzuki, yeah. Very local, just down my road. I did that for like 5-6 years. 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, from when I was 4.
Yeah.
4 years. 4 till
Wow.
8, yeah.
Yeah. Great, fantastic. And that's you in NCO.
Oh,
You're in under
God.
10s and under 11, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've still got the t-shirt.
I think I do somewhere in the cupboard somewhere. It's nice for, when you have to wear red.
What are your memories? Do you have any memories of NCO specific memories?
Yeah, no, NCO was my first sort of big orchestra experience, big symphony orchestra, and I think that's starting. I mean, it was massive. I remember we were all packed into, was it Port Regis?
Yeah, that's right.
They sort of had a massive sports hall, and we were still packed into it.
Yeah.
And actually, one memory, I think they didn't have enough percussionists, so I had to play bass drum for Aladdin, I think, now that I remember. So yeah, I played bass drum in NCO.
Fantastic. Well, not many people can say that. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to you, Dan. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, I'm Dan. I play the horn. I'm from Liverpool. Yeah, I think that's really as much as there is to know about me.
Other than you started playing the violin by the looks of things.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how old I am there. Probably old enough to know better, but but yeah. And there's a picture of my cat. He's called Titus.
Titus. Good name.
He's got an attitude. He's got an attitude problem, but I suppose most cats do. So,
That's true.
But yeah.
So what happened with the violin then, Dan? Was it not for you?
No, not. I mean, it was such a long time ago. I can't really remember. But I think I learned how to play "I'm a Little Monkey, I'm a Little Monkey" or something like that. And it was, I think at that point I'd had enough, really. It's funny. I've still got that violin somewhere in my house, and it's like a 16th size or something. So it's like a little toy. It's quite funny, but yeah.
Amazing, how cute. So how old were you when you started the horn?
I started the horn when I was in year 5, I think. So I'm not sure what age that is. I think it's about 9 or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
But originally I was on trumpet, and then I realised that horn was better.
And do you love the horn?
Sorry?
Do you love the horn?
Yeah, I mean, it's so good because in orchestral settings, especially, there's such a vast vast number of situations that horn is just perfect for. In terms of like colours, it can, from one moment it can be noble, and the next minute it can be pretty violent. So it's a good instrument to get a lot of everything in. So yeah.
Tell you what, I went to see the Alpine Symphony last night with the Liverpool Phil playing in Birmingham, and they had 21 horns.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Funny enough, they played the Alpine Symphony in the Liverpool Phil I think it was Thursday, which I get to go and watch as any intelligent person would. But yeah, that was phenomenal. But yeah.
It's the same one I saw yesterday. Great. And so the competition, BBC Young Musician, how was that?
It was good. It was good fun. It was stressful as far as competitions go, not to mention the TV aspect. But in general, it was a very fulfilling experience, and it was a nice way, because a lot of the time I have to turn down things like going out with mates and stuff, and to be able to invite them all around to my house and say, like, I'm not doing it for nothing, this is this kind of thing, was quite nice. But yeah, it was good, and it was nice to meet up with people I hadn't seen in ages, and from different orchestras and stuff. So yeah, it was great fun.
Great. And this is you at NCO in the same orchestra that Sophia was in. This is Marla 1 at Bridgewater Hall, I think. How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really, really good. I think that was the first time I'd played Marlon in an orchestra, and it was just incredible. You know, the sound, it's just, you know, at the time it was like, whoa, pretty crazy. And so what age was that? Was that like 14, I think?
Yeah, 14, yeah.
That's just, you know, kids doing Marlowe at 14. When does that happen? It's
I
mental.
know.
It's mental.
I remember programming it and thinking, is this actually possible? Are we going to actually be able to do it? But I mean, look at all those horns, and you know, it's got the best ending of any symphony, pretty much. I think Marlon one, and just all the horns standing up at the end is just like epic. So I thought that was an amazing concert. Great, fantastic. And Jordan, congratulations on winning BBC Young Musician, and congratulations on also having been in NCO, of course. Tell us a little bit about you, about the competition, about being a percussionist.
So I'm from Cambridge. I'm 18. Well, now I'm studying at Birmingham, at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire. Absolutely loving it. I mean, the percussion department here is, you know, second to none. It's incredible. But yeah, before that, I went to Junior Royal Academy for 3 years, and then went to Junior Royal College for 3 years. I think that whole experience really, that was one thing that really helped me, like just getting the experience. I think that's a really big part of playing as a musician. But yeah, the competition I think it was great fun. I mean, it was so stressful. I mean, it was very scary, you know, because you're on a stage and there's quite a lot of people in front of you and you're doing a solo, which is one thing, but knowing that it's on TV and there's, you know, God knows how many people watching that, it's even scarier. But I don't know, it was still just great fun, and everyone there was so lovely. And it was great. I just loved, especially in the final, just going back and chatting with Sophia and whoever else is back there, just having a nice little natter. Yeah, it's just, you know, meeting new people and stuff. That was great fun as well.
Brilliant, amazing. And we found a little picture of you, young you, in NCO. What memories do you have of NCO?
I remember specifically one course, which was, I was in main orchestra, but it was my second last year, and I just remember we had Kevin Hathaway as a tutor, and he's so cool, he's so awesome, he's so funny, but he's also a bit of a beast at percussion, so you just kind of get everything in one, which is great fun. And I just remember in sectionals we'd get all the stuff done really well, we'd get all over it, and then we'd have time, because there isn't as much to do on percussion as other instruments. We just went out and played golf with the brass. We had a bit of a competition, you know, having a bit of fun like this. It was great fun.
Brilliant. And the good thing about all you guys is you're from all different parts of the country, like our NCO children. So Dan's from Liverpool up there, and Sophia's from Stockport, New Manchester, and Jordan's from Cambridge, and Aki's from London. So I know that our NCO kids are from all across England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales as well, and it's nice that you guys are too in your journey. Brilliant. So let's come out of the screen share and let's see if we have got any questions. So if you want to ask any questions of our guests, just type them into the Q&A part of the chat down there, and we will answer them. So let's quickly talk about the competition itself. Oh, hold on a minute, it looks like there's a poll. Okay, can you see the poll? It said Jordan's favorite film is Avengers Endgame, Elf, Wreck-It Ralph, The Incredibles, Aladdin, or Finding Nemo. Okay, let's see whether we can discover what Jordan's favorite film is and get voting. We've got quite a lot at the moment for one thing. I can see it going up here. So how many have voted so far? 56%, 66%, 71%. Nearly there. I hope you can remember what it is, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, I am going to end the poll and share the results. And it seems to me that people think, Jordan, that Avengers Endgame is your favorite film, followed by Incredibles, followed by Aladdin, followed by Wreck-It Ralph, followed by Elf, followed by Finding Nemo. So tell me, what is your favorite film, Jordan?
My favorite film is Elf. So I just get a great buzz out of it all year round. It's just a brilliant film.
It is a brilliant film. I totally agree with you. Anybody else there? Dan, do you have a favorite film? Childhood film?
Yeah, Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is my favorite.
Yeah, well, that was in there as well. Great, fantastic, great. We found out our secret about Jordan. Brilliant. And we've got a few polls. Sorry, a few questions. So Sam Middles asked you, Jordan, what's your best tip for a percussionist?
My best tip for a percussionist, I think it's very easy to just kind of skip past a lot of levels and a lot of exercises, because I know what I did, and I had my teacher saying, "Oh, do rudiments really slowly. Look at your wrists. Look at your technique. All this type of stuff." And I was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna play all this cool, fast stuff," which is great fun, but it means you're playing it wrong in a way, and when you get to harder stuff, you can't do it, and then you've got to go all the way back to stage one, and it's just that bit's pointless if you do stage one to start with. And also, as a percussionist, obviously you're very physical, so if you haven't worked on your technique a lot, it can actually really harm you. So I've got RSI, my right thumb, which comes on quite a lot, which is, I think it's to do with just my bad technique from when I was younger, and I'm changing it now. It's it's fine now, but it's still a bit tight, and that's one of the examples of just when you're young, you got to just go focus on the hard stuff or the easy stuff even.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's probably the same for all of you, that it's important to look after your. What about you, Aki? Is it important to you to look after your body and your physique as a musician?
I definitely think so, because I remember since actually NCO, I've had a problem where like my left shoulder's just really is not good, and it's just come from me not looking after myself when playing for long times, like in NYO and back in NCO. So just looking after yourself, and it's mostly just about tension. If you sort of feel any tension or feel like something's uncomfortable, the first thing you want to do is sort of look for ways to prevent that, and sort of like exercises, or even just finding a new shoulder rest or anything that makes you more comfortable and relieves tension, I think is really effective for when you're older. So
yeah. What about you, Dan, in terms of horn playing? Is that similar?
Yeah, I mean, all instruments aren't natural for what how you hold them, kind of thing. But especially with the horn, you've got such weight on one arm, and then the other one's like this. So you kind of it's really important to look after that and make sure you're relaxed whilst you're playing, and there's no tension. There are only a limited number of notes you can play within your lifetime, so you might as well stretch that out as much as you can by just looking after yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah, great. Well, on all our courses, our residential courses, we have wellbeing teams with us to really help you understand why that's important, and so we will be making sure that that's part of our all of our learning. By the way, Jennifer says, Jordan, that BTW Elf is officially the best movie in the world. So got somebody agreeing with you out there. How long do you practice each day, Sophia? This is a question from one of our.
That's a horrible question to answer, because I think it's really, really dependent. I mean, when on the way up to BBC, I would say I was doing like 5 or 6 hours a day, which I wouldn't do now, and I wouldn't really recommend doing, to be honest. Like, I think it just really knackered me out. Like once after BBC, I was just like, I had to take weeks to just of not playing to just sort of like recover a little bit. So I think consistency with practice and also listening to your body and like what we were just talking about is really important. But yeah, I would say at the moment I would do like, it can be as little as 1 hour, and I would say at most probably like 4. But because I've not really got anything going on at the moment. But yeah.
Great. So it's also about being focused, isn't it, when you practice and knowing why you're practicing and what you're practicing and not just playing for hours on end.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. So I've got a question from Naya. Can I ask you, Aki, how did you feel when you were performing in the competition?
So before the first couple of rounds, they were very, I mean, to be honest, I entered the competition, just hadn't really done many competitions before, and I was just entering to get some sort of first round experience. And then it kept being a surprise getting through to the next round. And I kept having to learn new pieces. I remember I was on MYO and I had to learn an entire new piece in 3 weeks for the second round. So they were pretty stressful practicing up to them. And then for the final, I did have a couple months to be able to practice, the strings final is, to practice. But before going on stage was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever had in my life. And there's actually a psychologist there. They gave me quite nice breathing patterns, but I feel like once I stepped onto the stage and start playing, that's sort of where the nerves sort of start to fade and you're able to step into your performance and sort of enjoy it. So I think just like once start playing.
Yeah, you're in the zone. Jordan, would you agree that the moment before you go on is in a way the hardest, or how did you feel?
I don't know, with nerves I think it's different for every single person, and how they deal with it is different for every single person, and every single concert's different as well. For me, it was the build up that was scary, especially for the final, because I had not much time to learn a concerto, and I was doing quite a lot of other stuff over summer as well. But I just remember, especially before the final, I was just distracted, and I was just on my phone watching TikTok, and then suddenly someone comes in the door and says, "Oh, you're on next." I'm like, "Oh." And I didn't really have time to get nervous. And then I think when you walk on stage, you realize that, you know what, there's nothing I can do. These people have come here, they've paid, they've, whatever, they're here to watch me. So I'm going to show them, or I'm going to give them what they want to watch. And you just got to...
I think that's really good advice. I think it's great to think that people want you to do well, don't they? Nobody's going to a concert hoping that you don't play well. Everybody believes that you're brilliant and wants to hear the best. So I think if you feel that warmth and you believe in that warmth, it can make things easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Right, let's see. We have another poll. Here we are. One of our guests represented their borough in the triple jump. Okay. Who do you think is a triple jumper? Is it Sophia, Aki, Dan, or Jordan? We'll see who's the triple jumper. Going well. It's going well. We have got a question while people are voting. What's your favorite song? Dan, do you have a favorite song? I guess we're thinking like a pop song now.
Oh, that's a can of worms, that. There's one by a band called The Clash. Not sure how many watching that have listened to any of their stuff, but they are a personal favorite of mine, and they both song called White Man in Hammersmith Palais, and it's genius. It's got reggae style within it, and it's like the lyrics, I mean, I'm not going to go and speak them right now because they're quite political, but they're genius. So that's what I'd say. White Man in Hammersmith.
Great. I'm gonna have to go listen to that. I'm afraid I don't know it. Do any of you others know it? No, we learned something today, Dan. We'll go and listen to that song. Okay, let's see. What do people think? They think that Aki is our triple jumper. Is that right, Aki?
That's correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what is it? So go on, Dan.
I'm gonna try and not be insulted by the fact that one person thought that I would represent my bow in the triple jump. You know, it's fine. I'll try not to take offense to it.
I haven't noticed that. Yeah, that's a bit brutal. You obviously have talents elsewhere. Brilliant. Well, I don't even know what the triple jump is.
It's probably the most niche thing you can do in an athletics track, but right. It's sort of long jump, but you do 3 jumps at the same time. Like, so you jump with your right foot and then off your right foot again, and then your left foot, and then into the sandpit.
Okay.
But there was way more people doing triple jump than long jump from what I remember. So quite strange.
Well, there we are. That's our secret about you, Aki. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about coping under pressure. I think that we don't need to do that on nerves. But favorite composer? Phoebe wants to ask you, Aki, who is your favorite composer?
There's so many. One composer. If I had to choose, I have to say maybe
Mendelssohn.
I think Mendelssohn, actually, almost purely because of the Mendelssohn Octet, because I think that's just the greatest piece ever written. So yeah, I'll go Mendelssohn. Amazing. I think it's genius. And he was 16 when he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that for my GCSE composition.
What about you, Sophia? Do you have a favourite composer?
Gosh, it depends for what. I think for orchestral music, Ravel. I can't get enough of Ravel. But to be fair, I'm biased because, like, you know, he writes really beautifully for the flute. Yeah. But for solo repertoire, that would be a question I would have to think more about.
What about in the percussion world, Jordan? Favorite composer?
What, for percussion or just in general? I don't know. I'm quite a fan of like really cheesy music, which I'm starting to get slated by here. But there's a composer called Robert Oetomo, who I don't know how he does it, but he writes for marimba in just such a beautiful way. Like, he knows all the way all the notes work. I don't know. It's just and he's done like an arrangement of Over the Rainbow, which has been my party piece for quite a while because everyone knows Over the Rainbow, and to hear it on the marimba, it sounds really beautiful. But that's
you've recorded that, haven't you? I've seen it. It's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you can watch Jordan playing that. I don't think it's that cheesy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, compared to a lot of other marimba music, it's cheesy.
Yeah. I guess so. Great, fantastic. A question for you, Sophia. How long does it take you to learn a concerto, would you say?
I've only ever learnt one concerto, and that was the one that I played, the Eva. And I learnt that over a summer. It was like the lockdown summer. So I wasn't really doing much else. So it would probably take me longer now because I've got more going on. But yeah, I would say about like 3 months to like feel secure with it.
We've got a very sweet question here from Benji saying, do you have any top tips about playing a duet? Isn't that sweet? Dan, do you want to answer that? Playing duets, any top tips?
Yeah, sure. Make sure the person you're playing the duet with is a nice person. That's always helpful. You know, maybe beforehand do a little bit of planning on what you want to get through. I mean, maybe it's just for fun. Bring a pack of biscuits, some snacks and stuff, and just have fun, really. Because I mean, unless it's like a serious thing that you're working towards with it, just enjoy it. and like, you know, if you're working with someone and you're like on the same wavelength as them, then there should be no judgment at all, and you're just both there and have some fun.
I think that's great advice. Choose someone nice and bring a packet of biscuits. That's excellent. Okay, so this is a nice question. If you could play any other instrument, what would you like to play? Aki, if you could play a different one as well as you play the violin, what would you play?
Well, I also play the piano, but if I had to play another instrument, I quite like woodwind. I'd say probably between the clarinet and the saxophone. Sorry, Sophia. Oh. I find the saxophone pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, what about you, Sophia? If you could play something different, what would you play?
Honestly, I would also say the saxophone. I would love to play tenor saxophone and like, you know, growl a bit, you know, when they just go really funky. I really want to do that. That's what I always strive to do on the flute, I would say.
What about Jordan? What would you, if it wasn't percussion, what would it be?
I'd go to brass, I think. I played horn for a while, so I'm not going to say horn. Apologies, Dan. I'd probably go for trumpet. I'd like to scream a little bit.
Something loud. What about you, Dan?
I'm going to be out there and say bass clarinet. Is there's something meaty about like the low register. Oh, it's good. I really like bass clarinet. So
it seems woodwind's just the best then, obviously.
Great. Oh, we've got another poll. One of our guests has 3 nephews. Okay, now this seems quite unlikely because these guys are very young, and that means that they've got a brother or sister or several that have had children already. So who is it who has got 3 nephews and no doubt is an awesome uncle or auntie? Okay, it's moving up now, getting there. 50% of people have voted. I guess you guys don't know the answer to this, but it's edging in a convincing direction, I can say. Nearly everybody's in. Yep, everybody's in. And they think it is Dan. Are they right?
Yes.
Have you got 3 nephews, Dan?
I have 3 nephews.
Wow.
They are, so the eldest is called Caleb, middle is Lucas, and then the youngest is called Teddy.
How old are they then?
Sorry,
I'm asking now.
Yeah, I think they are 9, 6. No, that's wrong. 10, 8, and 6. 10, 8, and 6. I think. Don't hold me against that though. But yeah.
Great. So how old were you? You must have been like 9 when you became an uncle. No, a bit less.
I was
8.
I think I was in year 4 or something like that. Yeah. So it was.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. There's like a 20-year age gap between me and my brother.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
So are you the coolest uncle in the world then? I bet you are.
Yeah. No, I don't like to admit it, but yeah. It's funny because all 3 of them, my brother and sister-in-law, they're all in South Africa at the moment, because that's where my sister-in-law's from. So they're all having a whale of a time in like, you know, I think it's Cape Town there at the moment or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, so
amazing. Wow, great. Okay, quick question for you, Aki. What age did you start playing the violin?
I think it was a week before my 4th birthday was when I actually started. Okay. But you know, I'm sure I picked up, well, maybe not picked up my dad's violin, but I'm sure I picked up some violin. But yeah, no, I've been playing for a solid 11 years now. Right.
Got a question for you, Sophia. Do you have a favorite musical? Does anybody like musicals?
I'm not the one to ask. I'm sorry. I have quite a deep hatred for musicals, but I do like La La Land. That's the only, but that's kind of half a musical. But yeah,
like
sorry about that. I hope I didn't offend
anyone. Were you in under-13s? Were you in under-13s when we did La La Land? Were you in that?
Oh no, I was in the main orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan? Do you like musicals? If you like a bit of cheese?
Yeah, I do like musicals.
Excellent. What do you like? What are your favourites?
Lion King is awesome. I don't know if you've seen it, like in the West End, and where all the animals come down and stuff. Oh, it's so cool. Phantom of the Opera is a bit of a classic as well. But also Aladdin. I watched the live action Disney film of Aladdin. Awesome as well.
Yeah. Good songs, really good songs. What about you, Dan? Do you like a musical, or did you go with Sophia?
I like La La Land. I do like La La Land. But other than that, not really my cup of tea, I'm afraid.
Aki, are you going to save us on musicals?
To be real, I'm slightly on the Sophia Dan page here. Yeah.
Oh, it's you and me on our own, Jordan. I love a musical. What about Cabaret or Chicago? They're amazing. Anyway, maybe you just haven't discovered them yet. Shall we just say that, Jordan?
Maybe.
Because these guys are young. They haven't got there yet. Brilliant. Okay. Evie says, I've got a competition coming soon. Do you have any top tips? Sophia, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, I've not really done that many competitions. I've only done BBC and like BFS, but I would say like really make sure that you love the pieces that you're playing, because I think that's the most that's the thing that's sort of going to sell you the most, because you'll sort of play the most genuinely, and also like try and think of a story with your piece, because I always find that when I'm under nerves, like I'll sort of forget like why I'm playing the music, and then if I have the story that I can associate with it, then I'll be like, oh no, I can just focus on like, you know, what's happening now. I don't know, that might work.
Yeah, great. That's really lovely. I have actually another question for you. Do you have a favorite solo flute piece?
Yeah, the one that I played for the category final, Coltrane by Dave Heath, is just, it's great. That's the kind of piece where I would want to be playing tenor saxophone. You know, it's just, there's just so much you can do with it, and it's not like the normal flute, like, you know, dainty bird-like repertoire that you get. It's like proper gritty, quite you know, I feel like some of it is sort of in a trance. I think it's just really cool. Yeah, so if you haven't heard that, listen to it.
Great. We've got a question for you, Dan and Sophia, actually. Any top tips for breathing? I guess other than breathe, it's quite a good idea to keep breathing. But Dan, any top tips about breathing?
To be perfectly honest, I might not be the one to ask for that, because my breathing is shocking. I've had lots of times in lessons with different teachers who have said, like, complained about my breathing. But I mean, from what I think I've gathered that you're meant to do, is kind of, you know, support. Imagine there's like someone like at the bottom of your stomach with a little bit of air, and they're constantly just kind of, you know, feeding it down the end of the instrument. I think so far that's been the best way I've thought about it. But also the different ways you breathe will affect the sound, and that, you know, if it's a warm breath, you'll create a warm sound. If it's harsh, you'll create a harsh sound. But also breathing is really, really important, not only with section work, as in sorry, not section work, working in chamber situations, but also in section work. So for example, if you've got a horn section, everyone will be listening out for the principal of the section to breathe. Everyone will breathe together and then come in as a unit, which is very, very important when it comes to orchestral playing, especially as horn players, when the sound is going to the back of the hall. So it's even more important that everyone's together. So if, you know, if anyone's late, then at least the entire section's late. So yeah.
What about Jordan? Do you think about breathing when you're playing percussion at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's actually really important in a weird way. Obviously, it's incredibly important for wind players because, well, I always can't make a note, but like for everyone else, in terms of like dance they're playing together, if you breathe, I find it's quite hard sometimes just to like watch conductions go, just hit wherever you're hitting because you've kind of got one chance, and if you're early, you know, that's that, and if you're late, that's that. You can't do much about it because you've hit the drum and it's made it sound. But if you breathe with the orchestra or breathe with the conductor, it's so much easier just to be bang on time. But also in like solo works and stuff, if you breathe, it can really help show like the lines of the piece and the lyricalness of the piece, if that's a word. And like especially when you've got silence, it's very common for people to go, just let's just play through the silence and stuff. But if you breathe through that silence and really just wait your time, then it just makes it just like a nicer performance to listen to.
I used to know a timpanist who used to say, the art of playing the timpani is don't be early, but you mustn't be late. Which is like there's one place that's right and everything else is wrong. And that's exactly, I guess, what it feels like, especially when you're right at the back and there's, you know, potentially a bit of a time delay, that actually being bang on where you need to be is really an art, and I'm sure a lot to do with breathing. Very quickly, as we were asking about musicals, somebody has asked, is anybody interested in the organ? Slightly random question, but anybody had any burning passion ever to play the organ? I'm going to.
It just baffles me, the organ, playing with your feet and your arms, and then all the levers, and then I just don't think I could get my head around doing that.
No. Oh, another poll is coming in. Okay, Sophia's favorite meal would be lentils, mint chocolate chip ice cream, teriyaki salmon, a proper Italian pizza, sushi, or steak and chips. Okay, what would be her favorite meal? And it's looking quite fun, actually, the answers that are coming into that. I don't know, probably some of you others might spot some things in there that might tempt you. We're nearly there with all the answers. Thank you for answering so quickly. I think pretty much everybody's done it now, and yeah, everybody's in now. So these are the results of the poll. Most people think proper Italian pizza. Steak and chips is at the bottom, followed by lentils. So Sophia, what is the answer there to your favorite meal?
I don't know why I find it so funny that everyone thought I would love an Italian pizza. I do, but I love a good bowl of lentils. Yeah, my mum makes some gorgeous lentils with chorizo and potato, and you make your little chorizo sandwich. Yeah.
I was just imagining a cold bowl of lentils when I saw that.
Yeah.
Now you describe it, it does sound much more appetizing. What about you, Dan?
It wasn't very descriptive, sorry.
What about you, Dan? Favorite meal?
Steak and chips.
What about you, Jordan?
It's got to be a proper Italian pizza for me.
And Aki?
I'm a sucker for teriyaki salmon.
Great. All good choices, I have to say. In fact, I've quite fancied some of your mum's lentils. Definitely sound nicer than what I had, you know, that sort of slightly bland green lentil kind of picture in my mind. But and it sounds really good. Great. Right. So we're coming to the end of our webinar, sadly. We've got to go. Aki's got a concert to go to. He needs to rush next door to his school. But thank you all so much, NCO kids, for joining us. If you would like to do the webinar selfie very quickly, this involves you just taking a picture of yourself with us on the screen and then sending into us at NCO, and we'll put it on the gallery on the website. So we're going to count down from 3 and do a bit of a silly pose, and you can take your pictures with us. And Aki's going somewhere. Has he got something? You got a prop? Okay, here we go.
Oh, I've got a grinder.
3, 2, 1. I've got a cat. Fantastic. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. That's great. Excellent. Great. I hope you got some good pictures out of that. That's brilliant. Now we're just going to finish with just a couple of top tip for if you were talking to your 12-year-old self, Jordan, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't race ahead, to be honest. Just take your time with stuff and you'll get there before everyone else does.
There in the tortoise a bit. Take your time.
Exactly.
Don't rush. Yeah, exactly. Great advice. What about you, Dan?
Enjoy yourself. Don't think about it, really. I mean, yeah, it's everyone says it, but I look back to the whole NCO thing, and first of all, I think, oh, I wish I'd made the most of that. But I also wish I hadn't stressed out about it as much, because everything was less complicated then as it is now. And, you know, there's so little things to worry about. So yeah, just don't stress it and enjoy it.
Fantastic. Sophia?
Yeah, sort of along similar lines, like don't really take yourself too seriously. Like it's important to think seriously about music if that's what you want, but also do different things, like explore different genres. Someone once told me to sort of like play to the strengths of your personality. So I think like in a piece, like really thinking what would I actually like, what's my real reaction to this, rather than like thinking, oh, everyone plays this really loudly, so I'm going to play it really loudly.
Great, fantastic. And Aki, any advice?
I sort of agree with Dan. Sort of just enjoy playing, and sort of, even if you just sort of smile and try and get the fact to the audience that you're having fun, it will make it more fun for the audience, because they'll sort of feel like they're included in what you're playing, and they'll enjoy it and you'll enjoy it. And it sort of just makes the whole experience sort of just less you're playing your technical piece, and rather you're telling your story to the audience and you're enjoying it.
Great, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Those are all great pieces of advice, and I'm sure everybody will take those to heart. And thank you all for joining us, and thank you for being such amazing musicians. And we will follow you and look at you on YouTube and follow your progress, because you're all inspirational young people, and I'm sure there are lots of little people watching who will be totally inspired by your journey and your continuing journey. So stay in touch with NCO, and we look forward to perhaps seeing you again at some point. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.